Well, I mean, who was the better person for him to use than her? What she did not know, though, is that this was a whole game. I mean, she thought she ate, but she did not know that there was no food on the table.
I think that Promise and Owami should have been sister wives. Because as we speak, Owami is not married, Promise is married. But Owami thinks about that man, God Promise, and what he's doing and what he's up to, just as much as Promise thinks about him. In fact, Owami thinks about Promise's man more than Promise thinks about Promise's man. So I think that at this point, they might as well be sister wives because the sleepless nights that Oami is having about that marriage, she might as well be married to that man. So there's a clip that's going around, you guys. In fact, let me just see if I can find. There's a clip that's going around of Promise. It looks like it's an interview or a podcast of some point of some sort. And she, in a clip, she says that her and her husband set up this person, which I think that is the baby mama. They set the person up because they knew exactly what she was going to do with the information. So the whole thing was a setup. Them releasing information that they were getting a divorce and even giving her some type of receipts. Remember that the way that we find out that Promise was getting a divorce was Oami posted a video on TikTok and then did a special on YouTube. Then they did a live. There was a live that I watched where Madam Speaker was part of that live and Oami was part of that live. So it became a thing that day. So Owami was the source for many people, but her source was the baby mama. The baby mama had released the information that the two, Promise and her husband, had been divorced already. The divorce had been finalized. I remember those words. The divorce has been finalized. She just wasn't telling her followers who promised that she was divorced. And Promise just went, you know. Now, she says that even though I haven't watched the full interview and I want to find it and watch it, Promise's interview, but she says that she set it up. It's almost like it was a marketing campaign of some sort. Number one, I'm like, how do you convince your husband to get in the mess with you? That is so much fun. That is so much fun. But how do you convince your husband? Like, I can't imagine how you convince your husband to get in the mess with you because usually men just don't like the mess. But I guess he understood the goal in terms of like marketing the book, that he was like, listen, I'm going to do this with you. Now, I had thought, and remember after the article from the City Press came out, because the City Press released an article where they said that Promise and her husband had applied to change their marriage from in community of property to out of community of property. That is what the City Press said. So I had thought if City Press is right, then Promise and her husband, I thought that they had approached the baby mama, as in the baby mama was part of the scheme that Todd set up, you know. Because this whole thing was a scheme that Todd set up for Owami to come to, no, for the baby mama to come to Owami with the BS. It's a scheme. So I thought the baby mama was part of the scheme, you know, that she had been given this information and sent to give it to Oami. But from the clip, it sounds like even her, she was being played. I was like, how much do they hate you, girl? So not only was the baby mama celebrating for herself that the marriage is over, whether she wanted the man or not, but the fact that she was sharing that information, it sounded like she said she was celebrating the fact that the marriage is over. She was happy about it, and she thought about one person on the internet that was going to really like receiving that information, and that was Owami. So that's how Owami got played, because they played the baby mama so that the baby mama can play Owami. And they knew that if it's about the divorce, then everybody was going to be talking about it when it's Promise and divorce and all of that. And that is because Promise was about to have a book out, which, by the way, is out, okay, as far as I understand. Now, when I was listening to Owami's video, I was going to be shocked if Owami admitted and be like, listen, you guys, I'm going to take an L with this one. They played me, okay? They really just played me. I was going to be surprised if she did. And I did not get surprised because she did not admit that she got played. In the video, she is still kind of like implying that part of what was going on, part of what she was reporting was true. For an example, she says that the husband was over there calling, telling people that Promise is not his wife. But I'm like, yes, he did, because the whole thing was a plan. If Promise is telling the truth about the whole thing being a plan, even the man being in the comments saying that he is nobody's man. Remember, they asked him, and he said he's nobody's man. Even that was them playing you. So I don't know if she gets the full picture of the scheme. I think Todd might need to call Owami and explain the scheme that Todd set up. That no, even the husband being in somebody's comment section saying that Promise is not my wife was a scheme. It was part of the scheme. You were being played because you had to get all of the information. The man had to act like he's single and free, and he does not know what's happening with Promise, and he does not care about Promise. So I kind of feel like, even though Promise is saying they played the baby mama to play Oami still doesn't believe that she was being played, or it's just hard to admit. And I can imagine that it would be hard to admit taking an L in such a situation, especially when you have celebrated winning, when you thought this was the last round and you have won, but there were like 2 more laps that you still needed to do. And and then you're like, huh? I didn't know. Okay, I thought I had won already. And then the person comes back and be like, man, we played. Okay. So now in the video, there is a part where she talks about the baby mom, almost like she's not sure about the baby mom. I'm guessing that when she's talking about Musa's post, she's like, I'm guessing that this is one of the baby mamas. When they are mentioning the baby mama's name, and I was like, oh, but it's a baby mama. You know the baby mama. I mean, you talk to the baby mama. The baby mama is giving you information. Now, how are you not sure? It's just one. How are you not sure that it's one of the baby mamas? Okay. Anyways, you guys, and then she talks about the Musa Kaula, how Musa Kaula is not really a blogger and all of that. Oami has history not only with Promise but also with Musa Kaula. She used to admire Musa Kaula almost on every video that Oami would do. She would be admiring Musa Kaula, because Musa Kaula was like this source for every story that YouTubers, entertainment YouTubers would do. And then this one time, Musa was doing a live, Owami got on a live, and Musa just out of nowhere started dragging Owami. I don't know if they had met besides that time, something had happened, but he started dragging Owami. So Owami does not have positive feelings for or thoughts for Musa Kaula, and I think that's where that comes from when he says Musa Kaula is not even like really a blogger, and he's not that good, and he's not that intelligent. And I'm like, girl, like most stories we're getting from unintelligent guy, that unintelligent guy is the one that told us about Moda and DJ Zintle. That unintelligent guy. That unintelligent guy is the one that had been talking about Ace Matlala, the Bohutubijani, that situation. You see the Matlanga Commission, it originates from that unintelligent guy. Okay, so I'm feeling like the negatives about Musa comes from just the fact that she still feels a way about what happened between her and Musa. And I feel like she's implying that maybe Promise paid Musa to write that so because Musa was talking about the baby mama dating, many different people and somebody buying her a car and all of that. So she was talking as if she's saying that Promise must have paid. That is my interpretation. She did not say that. From listening to her, like she's saying, she must have been, Promise must have been the one that approached Musa Kaula, maybe even paid him to publish that story. Okay. But I'm kind of feeling like if Musa is publishing it, maybe it is true. Anyway, that's where the negatives were coming in about Musa. Now, the craziest thing was the baby mama. When she was saying because they are changing their marriage from in community of property to out of community of property, the baby mama must claim maintenance from Promise. I was like, girl, get it together now. What the hell are you saying? Also, I did wonder if baby mama did share something because I was like, why is the maintenance even an issue in terms of them changing the marriage? Because the person that is supposed to pay maintenance is the husband, and if the husband has been paying maintenance, whether they change the marriage or not, he's supposed to continue paying maintenance. That is not supposed to stop anybody from paying maintenance. So why would a baby mama have to claim anything from Promise? So that was crazy for me that she was actually suggesting that. I think that the Promise and Oami, we all know they don't like each other. They probably wish each other the worst. That's why even Promise is enjoying the fact that whole plan worked, of playing Oami worked. And now at this point, they just, and they're wishing for anything to happen to the other, especially on Owamie's side, because the maintenance situation, I was like, that's crazy. That is crazy. It's not like I don't know. I just didn't get why she would say that. I don't get why she would say that. It doesn't make sense to me why she would say the baby mama must go after the wife for maintenance. Why did the baby mama say that he was not paying maintenance? What's going on there? Anyways, you guys, then another crazy thing in that video was that Oami was promoting Promise's book. Indirectly so, because if you have a lot of followers and you talk about somebody's book, you're promoting it. Don't mention it, okay? So she mentioned the book. She said she's not. Listen, even if you say publicity is a crazy thing, because now look at it. That whole publicity guy Promise was about her getting a divorce, and everybody laughing at the fact that she's getting a divorce when she said that she'll never divorce her husband if her husband cheats. But it was still positive publicity because people are curious about the book. She introduced the book when people were talking about her. So now, even with this one, I was like, you are kind of promoting her book, though. I'm not going to buy her book, because why would I buy her book if I'm going to be reading about her husband cheating on her? I don't know why she's assuming that she will be writing about that, because, well, maybe because it's broken promise. Maybe that's why she assumes about the marriage. Here's the thing, you guys. Promise, but I have a few books that I've been saying that I've bought that a few years ago I used to read like crazy. Like I would find time to read. Now I don't have time to just read books. In the future maybe I will have, But right now I don't. I have books that I've bought in Funde chapter or two, and then I abandon the book, and then I get another one. And so I have a couple of books that I have that I haven't read. So I'm trying to decide, because I am curious about that book, I promise. Do I get the book and just keep it for a time when I have, maybe when I, when I retire or something? For the time when I will have some time to read. I wish I could say that I will read it in December, but my December is crazy because I don't have a caregiver for Siboseto, so I normally am not able to do anything. But I'm curious because she did mention, she mentioned the promise Uguti. When she was writing a book, she had to deal with some childhood traumas, things that she did not thing that affected her as much, but she had to deal with them when she was writing a book. So, and I like reading about things like that. So I would, but also just Umkosi, does she tell us anything about her marriage? Since all of us are now interested in her marriage. Maybe I'll get it. It depends also with how much. December. So if I feel like I can get it, I'll get a book because I'm curious about what she wrote about. And also, I think it's possible that the book is good, but I don't know if I'll have time to read. I can't even promise that, guys, I'll get the book and read it and review it for you. I don't have time. I'm hardly having time to do videos. So, yes, you guys, listen. If I was Oami, I would just take an L now and just be believing that story alone. Because I feel like even people that supported her, if you look at the comments now, like they're turning against her, they're saying, I know, now you are losing it. Once the comments are starting to go that way, it's an indication that maybe people are starting to see you as crazy in the situation of Promise versus Owami. But I do understand that it is very hard to take and be like, okay, I'm losing this one. Let me see the next one. It would have been weird for her after Promise reveals that it was all a plan for her not to do any videos. But I also think that it would have been better than doing that video. Even though for her, she says that she's doing the videos for views. But there are moments that are very cringy in that video that I'm like, maybe she shouldn't have done the video. Anyways, you guys, listen, okay, Promise is still married. Promise released the book. Promise played all of us, okay, because we thought she was getting a divorce. And yeah, and Musa Kaula is not a very intelligent blogger, apparently. Even though he is our source, honey. He is our source. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much. I don't think that this war would ever end, because I think when something happens with Owami, maybe there's going to be celebrations by Promise's side. If something happens with Promise, there's going to be celebrations this side. So it's always going to be that thing. But now, the thing is, if you are an entertainment blogger, maybe you're just starting your channel or whatever, your blog or whatever, be careful of those stories you get in the DMs. Because a lot of the times it's people that are just wanting to pay revenge at somebody. And those people will deny those stories the minute that you are getting into trouble. Like, I'm not the one. Or they will say, release the story. I am so sure this happened. I was at this place. I know. Here are the receipts. But keep me anonymous. Be careful of those stories. Be careful of those stories, because some of them might just be set up, Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what you think about it in the comment section. Did you watch Owami's video? Did you see that clip from Promise's interview? What do you believe at this point? Thank you so much for watching this video. Like it before you're gonna share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ngimthanda kakhulu.